Well, welcome back to UFOs Above Us. All right, just going to do a short little 5-minute video showing the new camera and looking at some interesting clouds. Now, this first picture is not earth-shattering, but there's a lot of characters or shapes in this cloud. And as I zoom in, I think they probably will kind of come clear to you. So it's a kind of an unusual cloud in my view. One in particular caught my attention because it's a triangle right here with 3 dots, one on each corner of it. Do you see that? So I thought that was pretty unique, but not earth-shattering. So let's move on. I'm going to show you several images. Now this one is interesting because of what it turns into later in one of my last pictures. But even now, it's got some interesting characteristics to it. You can see the X pattern in some, kind of unusual shapes. You've got this little V going down. And then you can see this nice circle pattern with an opening in the front of it. Again, it's moving left to right, so that's the front of whatever this cloud is. And you'll see more about that later on, but let's move on. I don't want this to be a long video. Just kind of enjoying my new camera, and it's kind of opening my eyes, so to speak, to new stuff. Now this one's interesting. All right, so looking at this, if you kind of look where the X starts, there's almost a whole row of characters. Now, not all these characters are English letters, but there's some kind of symbols. So let's again start at this X and follow across left to right. There's a whole row of some kind of characters. And I don't recognize them all, but they go all the way across. They kind of curve down here and make it all the way across the cloud. So again, pardon the dog. He's in the background. I guess he's scratching. So again, I don't know what that is, but it's pretty unusual to me. So let's keep moving on, because now we're going to move on to some pictures. I took 3 pictures of an unusual cloud. Here's the main cloud right here. And what it did while I'm sitting here watching it in my backyard, something kind of formed off to the left of it. So I'd see this area jut out, and something was kind of almost like sand filling out an image as I watched. So what does that look like to y'all? Now to me, I'm just going to be up front, it almost looks like a face to me, but not a human face, more like a ghost, skeleton, something. And then if you look with the detail of this new camera, I can zoom in so far, there's a little X right here, and it caught my attention, and then I looked at the object right next to the X. I want you to just study that for a minute and see what you see there. And I'm not going to say what I see. It would be wrong of me to even say it, but I see something kind of weird right there. So it may just be a cloud to you, and that's fine. But look at it and see what you think. So again, this camera is really getting me the ability to zoom way in on airplanes, clouds, UFOs that I spot. So look at that and kind of draw your own conclusion on what you think that is. And don't put it in the comments if you see something that would be inappropriate, please. All right, but back down to this face. So again, there's what I see as kind of like an eye socket in the roundness of the face. The left side isn't filled in all the way, so let me show you a couple more pictures of it. Here it is zoomed in. I have a nice optical zoom, long lens with my camera. So I zoomed in on that cloud, and you can see the cloud material filling in the left side of whatever that is. I mean, we can just call it a cloud, but what do you see in the cloud, I guess is what I should say. And then here's the final one I took just a minute or two later. And, you have a better formed, what to me gives the appearance of a face. Now, you may not see a face. You may just see a cloud. You may see something else. And if you do, let me know. But it was interesting. And look at the feather pattern. It's almost like a painting. I don't know if anyone's into art. There's a famous painting called The Scream, and it reminded me a little of that. And I can't remember the guy. I think his name was Munch or something like that drew it. Okay, here's the final picture. There's 3 objects here, and these objects are all moving left to right. And this bottom one, we'll look at it first. And it's not overwhelming to me, but all these objects are moving left to right, kind of along with each other. This middle one was really interesting because as I watched it, these 2 funnels shot out of the cloud itself at the same time. And the tops of them was kind of twisting. So very, very interesting to say the least. But this top one I thought was even more interesting because there's the main object and I cropped off the top of it by accident. But look at that circle. Remember we talked about the circle in a previous picture? Now look at it, and what do you see in the middle of that circle? Again, I'm not going to put thoughts in your head, but it certainly looks unusual, kind of zooming it back out to look at it. So there's the nice circle, but look what's formed right inside that circle. So again, what is it? Well, it's a cloud. There's no argument from me, but what do the clouds look like, and is that normal? And I'll leave that up to you. So for UFOs above us, this is Matt reminding you, keep watching those skies.